Well, Congressman Ron Paul has quite a following, and he's earned it, I believe, by clearly articulating some core constitutional principles that we should all endorse and honor, especially the principle of the delegated powers of the national government, the idea that the national government has only those powers delegated to it by the people of the United States via the Constitution. My concern about Dr. Paul's philosophy, Representative Paul's philosophy, is twofold. First, I think it's very important not to let the delegated powers doctrine obscure the fact that some powers have indeed been delegated, including delegated powers under the 14th Amendment that authorize the national government to protect all persons in respect of the equal protection of the laws and due process of law. When I asked Representative Paul about the 14th Amendment's delegated power to Congress to afford those protections at the Palmetto Freedom Forum, he wanted to take an extremely narrow view of Congress's authority under the 14th Amendment, and I think that really wasn't justified. The 14th Amendment is there for a reason. It grants a new and important power to Congress, and Congress needs to use that power, as it's instructed under the 14th Amendment to do, to, for example, protect the lives of innocent unborn children and others who may be denied the equal protection of the laws without the national government's acting. And then the second area is in foreign policy. I'm very concerned that Representative Paul seems to think that the attacks of 9/11 on our country, the murder of our citizens, were provoked by American action overseas. That kind of blame America attitude seems to me entirely inappropriate given the fact that the United States has been such a force for prosperity and freedom and goodness in the world. Have we made mistakes? Sure. Has our foreign policy been perfect? No. Should we do some things differently? Absolutely. But clearly, on the whole, America's role in the world has been a profoundly positive role, advancing the cause of freedom, advancing the cause of justice. And to suggest that the attacks of 9/11 were the result of our stepping beyond our borders to act in the world is out of line. So I have those two principal concerns with Representative Paul's philosophy. Well, I brought up the issue of the need for the Republican Party to be in the vanguard of fighting poverty. And I brought it up with Representative Paul because, of course, Representative Paul is an advocate of libertarian philosophy. Now, it's not that libertarians do not care about the poor. Many libertarians are exemplary people when it comes to caring for the poor. Their own generosity is extremely impressive. That's not what the issue is. The question is, what, if anything, is the role of government? What, if any, role is the role of government? And at what level when it comes to fighting poverty? Poverty is a reality in this country. Recent data based on the 2010 census indicate that poverty is rising in this country, especially for minority communities and most especially for the African American community. This should be a concern of all of us. If our fellow citizens are suffering, we as Americans need to be concerned about that. Now, does that mean that we should embrace large-scale, bureaucratized, governmental social welfare programs? No. They don't work. The historical record is not very good in fighting poverty in that way. And Representative Paul was right to take note of that fact and to say that he agreed with me on that point. Of course, a libertarian would. But I want to know what alternatives there are, if any, and what he would endorse and what other libertarians would endorse when it came to fighting poverty. Now, one thing we should all endorse, and I think libertarians can endorse, is a vibrant economy. And part of the reason that libertarians and others, including myself, want a vibrant free market economy is that it is a great engine for lifting people out of poverty. However, Representative Paul has also said that he wants to see the institution of marriage privatized. And I think that's a bad idea, and it's a bad idea precisely when it comes to fighting poverty. Marriage needs to be supported by government. It needs to be recognized by government. Government certainly needs to avoid doing things that undermine marriage, or treating marriage as if it's a purely private matter like bar mitzvahs or baptisms in which the public has no interest. The public has a profound interest in marriage because marriage is the original and best Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. It accomplishes what large-scale governmental bureaucracies do not accomplish in all of these areas. Just as the free market is a great engine of lifting people out of poverty, the institution of marriage is a great engine for lifting people out of poverty. If we want to fight poverty, and we should, then we should be in the forefront not only of promoting the market economy, but also of promoting the institution of marriage and rebuilding a healthy and vibrant marriage culture. Marriage dissolution, the breakdown of marriage, out-of-wedlock birth rates, non-marital sexual cohabitation are all highly associated with poverty, highly correlated with poverty. If we care for the welfare of others, especially the least, the last, and the lost among us, if we want to fight poverty, and as I say, we absolutely should, we care about our fellow citizens, we're all Americans, then we need to be fighting for the market economy and fighting for the institution of marriage.